Hello, and welcome back to another Genshin Impact lore narration. Today we'll be covering the lore for Kamisato Ayato, born March 26th, belonging to the region of Inazuma, wielding a hydrovision and the constellation Cypressus Custos. His description reads, the young but highly accomplished head of the Yashiro Commission's Kamisato clan. Cultured and polite, he is a man of many ways and means. Character details. As clan head of the Kamisato clan, one of the great clans of the Tri-Commission, Kamisato Ayato is a household name in Inazuma. However, people do not have quite the same clear impression of him as they do of the Shirasagi Himegimi, the elegant and kind Ayaka. Most only know that he is an important figure in the shogunate and the head of a famed noble house. But as for the details, there's little that they can say for sure. Some people say that the Yashiro Commission's festivals and events are ever meticulous and have been full of consideration for the people. Surely the Commissioner's hand is in all such matters. But others also say, but there is much to politics that should never see the light of day. And how could he have kept such a lofty position without a few tricks up his sleeve? Ayato himself is unfazed by such comments. Well, I consider myself merely a serious, dutiful public servant who owes his allegiance to the almighty Shogun. Character Story 1. Kamisato Ayato, as the eldest son of Inazuman nobility, was greatly loved from the moment he was born. Though his parents were too busy to always spend time with him, they took good care of him, and in any case, the young master never lacked for people around to look after his every need. When he was somewhat older, he would, at his father's request, begin a complex and strict training regimen as the family successor. But not all went as well as they might have hoped, and the pressures in the court and at home would weigh heavily on his father's health, resulting in an early passing. The young Ayato was thus thrust into a battle for the survival of the clan's position. In those days, none were impressed by this inexperienced youngster. Ayato went from being an elegant and refined princeling to the poor young master of the Kamisato clan amongst the people, and that greenhorn amongst his political opponents. Time, however, would prove these people wrong. With extraordinary courage and some first-rate tactics, he did not leave the clan to languish. No, indeed, the Kamisato clan's position would grow more stable than ever. The heavy workload, malicious deceptions, and attempts to frame him at every turn he parried away, even turning them to his own advantage. The passage of time has only increased the standing of the Yashiro Commission's Kamisato clan in the shogunate and with the people. Today, Ayato is a clan head that a great house like the Kamisato clan would be proud of, and a Yashiro Commissioner acknowledged by all. Character Story 2. The Yashiro Commission is in charge of ritual matters on Narukami Island, and must also attend to matters of cultural leisure in such a manner that deities and the people alike are pleased. And they do, honoring their commission. But with greater responsibilities come greater amounts of work. Fortunately, his sister Ayaka shares much of the clan's responsibilities, with most of the interactions between the commission and the people falling to her, allowing Ayato to spend most of his time on matters of governance. Dealing with shogunate officials is no easy matter. People come from different commissions and clans, and their perspectives are very different. Any single task grows harder as the number of people involved grows. Ayato's great strength lies in his ability to handle such matters. The way he sees it, people are driven by interest. Find leverage, and the other side will cooperate. Find some goal that will bring the other party around to your logic. Then pacify them with a few choice platitudes for the occasion, and most problems can be resolved. And when dealing with the stubborn, one merely needs to appeal to a higher power to bear. After all, what mortal could gainsay the light of heaven itself, no matter how high their status or arrogant their attitude? Over time, The knowledgeable and decorous Kamisato clan head gained quite the name for himself in the shogunate. This matter seems quite hard to handle. Should we ask the Yashiro commissioner? So people would often say. However, while Ayato is indeed full of ways and means, he will not simply help at any given moment. Firstly, not every task is related to the Yashiro Commission. Secondly, it is simply not worth it for the Kamisato clan to get involved for the sake of others' petty profit. Mostly, Ayato will simply tag along as a junior figure, teacup in hand, doing little more than smiling. Ah, come now, Sir Nagaoka. We are all loyal servants to the almighty shogun. Nothing more to it. We just need to be open with each other, and I'm sure we can resolve this issue together. Character Story 3. Being limited by his station and work, Ayato does not often appear in public, nor does he have much time for any sort of leisurely walk. However, these obstacles cannot hinder him from learning of new and interesting things. Perhaps in the morning, he might spy one of the Yai publishing house staff poking her head around the place, seemingly here to report for work, in which case, he may as well pretend not to notice. All the better to hear what new methods she has for skipping work and then accidentally let slip his newfound knowledge to Guji Ai. In a meeting with those old fogies at Tenshukaku, there is no need to speak too quickly. After all, watching grown people argue till they are red in the face over petty issues is quite amusing. While walking through the streets, he might suddenly consider a certain unique snack stand. Going up to the owner, he'd ask if they are selling anything new, how business is going, buy a drink or two to try, and if he finds it interesting, he'll buy a few back for the rest of the household. Lately, he has also sent some encouragement to the young Oni who frequents Hanamizaka due to the latter's bug-fighting troubles. Out of the goodness of his heart, of course. He also discovered that this Crimson Oni did not know what the name Ayato signified, which was fine, of course. No need to explain such things. On the way home, he might pass Chinju Forest and see passers-by having tricks played on them by the Bakedanuki, in which case, he will point the illusion out. If the Bakedanuki should hone their changeling skills further on his account, why, they should thank him for the inspiration. And of course, even one so talented as Toma might sometimes struggle to think of what to make for dinner. Such occasions are perfect for a hot pot game. After all, Ayaka always puts the most unexpected things into the pot, and how proud he is of his sister for that. Yes, these things are indeed the spice of the Yashiro Commissioner's life. Character Story 4. Between the butler and the housekeeper, the Kamisato estate is always spick and span, inside and out, except for one location. Kamisato Ayato's table is always a terrible mess after he uses it. Books are strewn about, open and even dumped face down on the table, while documents of uneven size are stacked haphazardly. The ink on the inkstone is never really properly kept, and one might even sometimes find chess pieces or cards under the table. Each time the clan head gets off work, the servants always need some time to clean his study up. In the process, they discovered that assorted notes are often clipped between these pages. Upon closer inspection, they are written in different hands, and their content also varies. Clan head, the servants have sent a new batch of flowers. I have placed them in a flower vase in the corner of the table. Please take care not to knock it over again. Clan head, a shrine maiden from the Grand Narukami Shrine came over today, saying that the Lady Guji wishes to see you. It seems important, as it involves the requisitioning of land in Rito. She invites you to the shrine to discuss the details. Lord Commissioner, the Momoyo flowers have not withered. The branches grow yet. Do not worry. Dear brother, I learned a new recipe while attending festivities with the traveler. Considering that he is from another land, do you think that I might need to make some changes to said recipe? Clanhead, the servants have been reluctant to tell you this, so allow this old lady to say it. If you wish to eat something, please leave it to our housekeeper. Also, please refrain from using the ingredients in the kitchen. How could we make you cook for yourself, after all? Ayato's work often sees him leaving home early and returning late. As such, the people of the Kamisato estate will communicate with him through these means. This was a method that Ayato came up with himself, and this is how the Kamisato household is run, via these small notes. Unfortunately, their use has seen the clan head's already messy table become messier still. Oh well, just a small sacrifice. Character Story 5. In Inazuma, people will sometimes pray to deities by offering certain kinds of cypress leaves. But as such rituals lack scale, they are often forgotten amidst the many, both large and small, that are conducted throughout the land. Though some time has passed, Ayato still remembers his mother mentioning that though these cypresses are evergreen, their leaves are not needle-like. Instead, they have large, crisp leaves that will not wither and fall even when new ones grow. As such, it is associated with the concept of prosperity, and was often used in ancient times as ritual plating for food offerings. Today, people no longer use leaves as mats upon which to spread food, but the habit of offering cypress leaves persists nonetheless. Perhaps it was just a hobby of hers, or perhaps she was just well-read in general, but whatever the case, his mother always had a great deal to say about festival affairs. Perhaps the Kamisato clan of the Yashiro Commission were born to protect the deities. In his younger years, Ayato had not fully agreed with this statement. He believed that the Kamisato clan was the Kamisato clan, and that it belonged to the family's members. That was the reason for its existence, and any service to the gods was a job, a matter of circumstance. But such presumptuous words could never be said out loud, and in any case, Ayato could not bear to interrupt his mother when she looked so excited. No matter how long she would go on, Ayato would always sit in front of her and listen in silence, even if his legs might fall asleep in the process. With the passing of years, Ayato's days would be taken up by swordsmanship and books. The one giving the lessons was now his father, and the lesson content would turn from ritual affairs to matters that the clan's successor should be concerned with. His duty to the clan would be something that would occupy yet more space in Ayato's life. Nor was the Raiden Shogun just a mere symbol as she was in his childhood. Now, she was the Ogosho, the mighty defender of Inazuma's eternal peace. The Kamisato clan stands today because of Narukami's mercy. As such, the clan must defend the road to eternity and follow the Shogun eternally. This was our agreement, and it is the unchanging rule of our clan. Remember this well. As for the specifics of what happened, Ayato had already gleaned some of them from reading their ancestral teachings. It was the Kamisato elders' failings that had resulted in the nationally important Raiden Gokaden to suffer great loss. If not for Guji Yai's intervention on their behalf, causing the Shogun to show them mercy, the Kamisato clan may have joined others in falling from grace and ceasing to exist. This was the grace of Her Excellency, and at the same time, it was a warning from her servant. As such, Ayato never snubbed his father's teachings, though he still believed in protecting his clan above all else. He also understood that Inazuma was sustained by the Electro Archon's protection. Only peace in Inazuma could guarantee the longevity and prosperity of the clan. No matter how things might change in Inazuma, the Kamisato clan alone would never betray the almighty Narukami. Even if his heart said differently, he could only bury it deep within well-maintained appearances. Just as his mother said back then, the divinely protected cypress will sprout new leaves from ancient branches. So too can the camellia in the courtyard remain fragrant even in the most bitter winter. Yumemiru Pen Case. Even Kamisato Ayato himself could not have expected that calligraphy practice, which he had found most boring in his youth, would eventually become a favored pastime of his. He had slogged through much penmanship practice to better play the part of the Kamisato clan's eldest son. But nowadays, he transcribes a few poems from time to time to clear his mind and think in silence. Of course, this also lets him seem like he's busy with official business even when idle, all the better to avoid seeing some people and doing certain things. With times passing, it became agreed among the servants waiting on him that he not only liked to play chess, but was also fond of calligraphy. Such talk would spread widely via word of mouth. As such, Ayato often receives excellent brushes as gifts during festivals or birthdays. Some of the more speculative have even bought him exquisite and expensive quill pens from overseas. Ayato has never attempted to clarify this matter, but instead had a lovely wooden case made in which he stores such stationery. He has always been interested in all things new, and trying out these new pens is indeed fun. Moreover, these gifts often say much about the person who sent them. Such information thus becomes one of the means by which Ayato can get a handle on them. That said, though he claims to have bought this case to store stationery, there are 3 pens that Ayato has never placed inside it. One of them, slim and well-crafted, is placed on his desk. It shows signs of some wear and tear, but it writes well, and is used for writing petitions. The second is stored in a drawer at the bottom, its fine tip having seen much loving use in the past when Ayato was practicing calligraphy. Its beginner-friendly nature also saw it borrowed quite often by Toma and Ayaka back in the day. As for the third, it is stored deep within a wooden cabinet used to store antiques, sealed within a silk bag. Excellent of make and design, it was presented to him by his mother during his adulthood ceremony. Vision. One night, many years ago, Ayato's gravely ill father summoned him into his presence. That night, his father seemed a little different from the illness-weathered figure he had become. His expression was solemn, and yet the concern in his eyes was all too clear. Forcing himself to stay alert, he asked Ayato, was his training done? Had he eaten enough for dinner? How was his swordsmanship progressing? As Ayato replied, his father nodded with a smile, seemingly satisfied, yet his expression would quickly darken, as if there was something he wanted to, but could not say. After much hesitation, and under his wife's melancholic gaze, his father would finally speak, his voice heavy. Ayato, remember, no matter what happens to the Kamisato clan in the future, you are our eldest son, Ayaka's elder brother, a successor the Kamisato clan is proud to have. After reminding his father to rest well, Ayato would take leave of his parents and return to his bedroom. The moment he opened the door, he saw the shining vision lying on his desk. Ayato had heard since he was young that visions are signs of the god's favor, born of human wishes. Since his youth, he had longed to become the family's pillar, not for any great work, but to ensure that the clan would prosper and to protect them. That this vision should appear now meant that, perhaps, the time had come for him to take up this burden. So thinking, Ayato did not call for the servants to light the lamps. Instead, he merely sat down beside the table. Many things flowed through his mind like a tide. His father was gravely ill. His mother was also unwell. The clan was leaderless, and its competitors eyed its position and power hungrily, as they had for some time now. His sister was still young, and he had to ensure that she grew up safely. The shogunate courts were like a sea full of hidden reefs. One had to tread most carefully there. They could not let go of the Shumatsuban, command over which had been passed down through the family for generations. As for the servants, some few might still be trusted should the Kamisato clan's strength wane. And as for Toma, who had come from a different land, would he consider other options should the Kamisato clan truly fall? These scattered thoughts would gradually straighten themselves out in Ayato's mind, and at their center was his still unchanged conviction. He would use any means at his disposal to secure the safety of his family and its future. Obstacles to that goal would be cleared away no matter the cost. That night, The vision was the only light that accompanied him, and when the first light of the next dawn alighted upon his desk, the young heir was prepared to face the world.